Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So today is our family talk. So, my dear family, please, ladies, come closer. I feel so separated. So come. Prabhupada won't mind. Just come. A little more. I'm not going to stop until I feel it is right. Come on. There you go. Gentlemen, come on. Come on down. Sounds like reverb. Is there reverb on this? It's good. Effects. If it is, turn it on. Any effects? Is everyone feeling okay? Are you sure? Only 3 people said yes. How's everyone feeling?
Good. Wonderful.
You're at the lotus feet of Prabhupada, lotus feet of Shishi Radha Sumati Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Radharani, and Gauri Tai. How could you not be happy? There are some reasons, though, why we might feel unhappy sometimes. I believe you mentioned that today we're going to be discussing about membership. Sometimes that discussion makes people unhappy. I was just reading about that today in one research paper about church membership. And they said 3 reasons why people become apprehensive when there is a discussion about this topic. One is they think it's off topic. What does that got to do with my spiritual life? What does that have to do with Krishna consciousness? So that's one of the hesitations or disturbing thoughts. But when you think about this idea of the members, what does that really mean, and how can we discuss that in such a way that we feel inspired? We come to the temple for what reason? Of course, it's prasadam, yes? There's one member of our community in Atlanta, he says, I would not have come had it not been prasadam. So because of prasadam, I was coming. Now I'm chanting, so I'm feeling better. So for whatever reason we come, it's good. 4 kinds of people come to Krishna, right? Who knows?
Yes.
Chaturvira bhajante mam. What is it? Who knows the 4 kinds? Jana Sukriti Arjuna. Artha Arthati. Inquisitive.
Seeker of wealth.
Yes.
Distress.
That's me, distress. Who knows?
Nani. Seeker.
Someone seeking knowledge, someone who's inquisitive, someone who's in distress, wealth. It's kind of funny people come to Krishna consciousness for wealth. We don't have too much of that. But still some people come. But the whole idea is that Krishna consciousness can accommodate everyone. Am I right about that? Everyone. There's one nice story in this biography written by Yogeshwar, which is also mentioned in Leelamrita. When Prabhupada was preaching in New York, one man came in and he was really messed up. I mean, intoxicated, clothes were disheveled, and the immediate response from the devotees are, get this guy out from here. Who is he? But the guy, he came in, and Prabhupada was giving a lecture, and he was on his seat and the stand in front of him. And according to Yogeshwar's book, the man brought some toilet paper, and maybe some paper towels, but mainly toilet paper, and put it in front of Prabhupada. Poof. Now, how would you respond to it? You're sitting here giving the Sunday lecture. Somebody walks in and put a roll of toilet paper in front of you. How would you respond?
One of these.
Huh?
Probably one of these.
Like, duh. But how did Srila Prabhupada respond? What did he say?
Thank you.
He said, he is not in order, but he's serving. Because the advanced devotee sees the good. It's like Paramahamsa. The Paramahamsa is so amazing, like a swan. The swan has the distinct ability to take milk from water. Now, we have no idea what that means, but he has that ability. So the Paramahamsa has that ability to extract the best qualities or to recognize the best qualities in everyone. Even if they're insignificant, even if it's coming from a filthy place. a lot of us came from, I don't say filthy places, but we came from questionable backgrounds. Most of you from India, your backgrounds are different. You have some nice culture there, rabbinical culture, to some degree. Of course, in Kali Yuga, not much rabbinical culture. But in the West, generally speaking, there was some, downside. So Srila Prabhupada, when he came, he saw the upside of all the devotees who came to him. I've read one other story. One devotee of Prabhupada in the beginning, he had left the movement. He became somewhat, as we call it in our lingo, fallen. Be careful with that, because sometimes when you say fallen, people think you fell to hell with the devil, but that's not what we're saying. So this person, in his own way, felt fallen. So in the middle of all the devotees, he crawled up to Prabhupada, tears in his eyes, in front of all the devotees. Crawled up to Prabhupada, crying. And Prabhupada rubbed his head or his shoulder. Don't worry, don't. Because he could see the good qualities in that person. Anyone who's done any service to Krishna is always appreciated by Krishna. What is that verse? Whatever small amount, nothing is ever lost. In this Krishna consciousness movement, the idea is that we're trying to create a family spirit, family environment. This is not your normal religious institution. Prabhupada really didn't call it a religious institution. This is a society of Vaishnavas, devotees. And what is a devotee? What is the best definition of a devotee or a Vaishnava as given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Who knows?
Serving others, serving.
Serving, that's one. What's the other one? That's another one. Another one. That's it. One who reminds others of Krishna. So we have to look to the right of us and look to the left of us and think, have I reminded someone of Krishna today? Or did I remind someone about my own problems, their problems, the problems of the world? We're all guilty of that. We were trained by one wonderful devotee in Atlanta. Sukadar, you know his name, Radha Mohan. Radha Mohan Das was a wonderful brahmachari. And he taught us how to go to the Sunday feast as temple devotees. It was about 50 or 60 of us. So we had a lecture about how to attend and serve in the Sunday feast. And he taught us how to talk to the new guests especially. He said, don't preach. We're like, really? Well, we've been studying all week. Got all these verses in my head. I got all this philosophy. I just want to lay it on them, Who's the new guest? I got you. You're on my list. I'm coming for you. He said, no. He said, point to the prashadam, and you ask them, did you like that? Maybe you're pointing at the halava. He said, did you like that? And they go, yeah, it's nice. That's called halava. And then you explain the halava. It's made from this, it's made from that. Did you like that one? That's a pakora. Or this and that. You break the ice. You make them feel comfortable. Why? This is another thing I found in my research today. Why people come to a church only one time and never come back. We might as well replace church with temple. Why someone, If they feel uncomfortable. Now, what you just said is important. I can make you feel uncomfortable when you come in my presence by looking at you thinking, what are you doing here? Who are you? I don't know you. What's your name? Where are you from? I don't like the, whatever. I don't like the way you dress. I don't like the color of your skin. I don't like that you're a man or woman. And then the person feels uncomfortable. Now, in your family, normally, you hope to feel comfortable. Yes or no? That's why families break up, because it becomes uncomfortable. When it's comfortable, you feel like there's no better place. What's that? There's no place like home. For some people, it's like, I can't wait to get out of this place. It's just like hell. The kids are hell, the wife or the husband is hell. I just can't take it. They go away. So people come to a temple or a church, and if they don't feel welcomed by the way you look at them, the face is the index of the mind, Srila Prabhupada said. Right, Manji? I love your smile. It's such a nice smile. Really, it's just like when I come and I see your smile, it's like, wow, I feel welcome. No. Just a little smile. And guess what? Doesn't cost a single dime. Right? Nothing costs zero. Right, Guru? Your smile is beautiful. It just disarms the person. You might even be apprehensive, but if you smile, that person may be apprehensive, but if you smile, they just feel better. It's like amazing. So that helps to create the spirit of the family. Now, when there's a family, the financial things are like not a big deal because everybody pulls together. I remember my mother and father passed in 1970 and 71, a long time ago. It's like amazing because I still think about it, especially my mother. And I remember what a struggle it was for them. But they just put it all together, especially around Christmas. Around Christmas time, I remember how my mother and my father would just sacrifice and scrape to make sure us kids we had like 7 kids. And my mother was a domestic worker. My father worked at a candy factory. That was a good deal. He worked at a candy factory. So every Friday he brought me candy. So I liked it. It was a good job. And it was walking distance from the home. But they would struggle. And my mother had this wonderful thing she would do on Christmas Eve. We didn't have much money for toys, but she bought a lot of fruit and nuts and candy. And she kept it in this one closet. We lived in government apartments. And I would go downstairs and smell that fruit and see the heart was just so overwhelmed because it was a family. And we did whatever we had to do to help each other be happy and find some peace. Isn't that what the temple is for? Why do we come to the temple? Why do we come? I said some people come for prasadam. I'm not saying that's bad, because I love prasadam too. Last night someone gave me cheesecake. Where's that someone who gave me cheesecake? It's wait there. She made sure I got some nice cheesecake. I went right back and I ate that cheesecake. So good. So nice. So why do we come to the temple? Now for the last 24 hours we came because there was a kirtan. Wonderful kirtan. Inspiring kirtan. But why else do we come? I know they have a class on Thursday for KrishnaKirtan and then Wednesday some kirtan. So it gives a reason to come. Normally in a church environment, they create reasons for you to come. And the minister, the pastor is always thinking of creative ways to attract the congregation to come to the temple or church. So some of that is happening for us with the support of Vishnu Gadavagu and other senior Vaishnavas, trying to create an environment that attracts us. Because Krishna is called Krishna, why? All attractive. The reservoir of pleasure. So beautiful, the deities. Really, that's the reason we should come to see and serve, not just come and see. See is only half of it. Come and see the deity. Seeing is also service, but come to see and serve. Right? That's one of our goals, that we'll develop more of a service attitude toward the deities. And why the deities? Because Srila Prabhupada has given us this opportunity. Archana, what do we call it?
Archana Vidhi.
Archana Vidhi. This worship process. He could have done something else. He could have said the whole idea of Krishna consciousness is sit and do yoga. Or the whole idea of Krishna consciousness is just to study the books and learn Sanskrit and become recognized as a scholar. I was just reading in his biography and Prabhupada said, that is not the purpose of this movement. We're not trying to make Vedic scholars here. You have to learn the Vedanta philosophy. You have to learn Srimad Bhagavad Gita. It's very important to learn. But we're not trying to become some big scholars. I've said it so many times from a quote that I heard years ago. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Just a little bit of how are you? Mataji, what is your name? Amber, how are you? Well, I'm doing good. People want to know. Just a little, how are you? How was today? How are you doing, Krishna? You good? Give me a smile. He's got a great smile. Just reciprocation. As Rupa Goswami explains in the nectar of what?
Instruction.
What's the Sanskrit word for that? Huh? Speak it up.
Upadeshamrita.
Yes. So he's explaining one verse that I always quote many, many times to help us understand how to become close to each other. Because Prabhupada says in the 7 purposes, number 3, what's number 3 of this? You have to learn Prabhupada's 7 purposes. Otherwise, you don't know the purpose of ISKCON. Number 3 is to bringing the members of the society closer together and nearer to Krishna, the prime entity. So Rupa Goswami gives a process how to do that. Dadati pratigrinati guyam agyakti prichati bhunkte bhojayate chaiva shadvidham lakshanam. Repeat after me. Offering gifts in charity. Accepting charitable gifts. Revealing one's mind in confidence. Inquiring confidentially. Accepting prasadam. And offering prasadam are the 6 symptoms of love shared by one devotee and another. So just look at those words. There's 6 symptoms of love. It's like if somebody's lying on the floor, we don't know if they're alive or dead. There's some symptoms to a person who's alive. Yes, breathing. Like when Lord Chaitanya first went to Puri, and he fainted, and everyone thought he was practically dead, except Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. He took some cotton, put it to his nose. He was just barely breathing, and the little things were moving. So I said, he's alive, in ecstasy. So there are symptoms. There are symptoms of love. Think about that. What are some of the symptoms? Somebody's calling me from California. What are some of the symptoms of love that we can understand? If you say you love me, Sugata, Prabhu, what do I expect from you? I don't expect money. Cheesecake. Well, of course, cheesecake, right? Because you know that's what I like. Cheesecake for shopping. You know I love that. So, last night, Vishnu Godal was saying to Mother Sweta, I believe, you have to have some cheesecake for Balabhadra. That's love. I know he loves me because he thought about me. I told this story before when I turned 60 on my birthday in Atlanta. They had this nice program. I'll accept the mercy. And then they read a letter from Jayapataka Maharaj. He wrote especially for that day to me. And he said so many nice things. And then he said in his letter, I hope someone remembered to give you cheesecake. I just couldn't believe he remembered that. He's struggling, he's suffering, he's thinking of me and my cheesecake. So I know he loves me. Now, how do you know if I love you?
Cheesecake.
Now, cheesecake is for me. How do you know? I try.
It makes it your choice.
Whatever little sacrifice I can do. Just like I was thinking this morning that by Krishna's grace, as Prabhu welcomed me as the temple president. So by Krishna's grace, I've been able to do some small service to help this temple for the last 2 years as sometimes you say corporate president, whatever, it doesn't matter, temple president. And then for about almost 5 years, I've been able to, I've been able to serve on your temple board for about almost 5 years as the chairman by the request of the devotees, and I feel honored by that. And I have to say that in the time that I've been somewhat involved in the structure of this temple, I am so impressed with the quality of the devotees here. And I'm not just saying that, believe me, I don't do that. There's something about the quality of the devotees here. And yes, how do you go? How do you go? What's her name? Hema, Hare Krishna. Oh, Noah, like the Noah the Ark. Nice. So there's something that you have done to me to impress my heart very deeply. Therefore, I would like to do whatever I can to support this temple. So by the grace of the Lord, we're developing some relationships with each other. I know a lot of you. I know some of you by name. I know most of you by face. I know some of you by your smile. But it's just wonderful that we can have that. So in terms of a family, we need to understand the needs and wants of each other and try to do the best we can to make sure that we're addressing those needs. It's like in a family, if father or whatever is just always taking and never giving, it's not very compatible. It's a reciprocation. So in our temple, there's a conception of reciprocation, how we can reciprocate with each other, how we can express love to each other. As he mentioned, this discussion today is about membership. But what have I really said? I've said a lot about membership. But the problem is people think that means money. And that's why they're apprehensive. Oh, okay, what do you call it? What's the punchline? When are you going to ask for the money? Yes, no, that's okay. So it's not about money. Money is almost like a second or third, whatever, fourth down the line. It's about reciprocation and love. If I care about you and I know you need something, I will make every effort I can to make sure you have that if I can somehow do it with my limited resources. That's love. Well, another symptom of love that Srila Prabhupada said, especially with reference to Krishna. If you say you love Krishna, one of the main symptoms is that you always talk about it. And I brought this up before. How many times in the course of your day do you really talk about Krishna? Think about it. You have to really examine at the end of your day, how much did I really think about Krishna today? Talk about Krishna today. And more importantly, who did I share the glories of Krishna with? I love you. I should tell people about you. Like many times I always mention my youngest granddaughter. She's 2 or 3. 2. So I just love this little girl so much. So someone says, why are you talking about her? Because I love her. I want people to know about my little granddaughter. She's so sweet. My wife gave her a little Indian outfit for her birthday. She immediately put it on. Tried to look like an Indian lady. She tried to do all the little moves. I just love that. So with Krishna, look at the deities. Everyone, don't look at me. Look at the deities right now. Look at, if you can see, Radha Sarati. Look, we were taught in the so-called 70s, every day we would look at the deities. Starting where? Where do you begin to viewing the deities?
Feet.
Where?
Feet.
Not just feet, lotus feet. They don't just have feet. They have lotus feet. So you start meditating and you remember the color of their toenails. And you go where? Go up to the ankles, to the calves, to the knees, to the thighs, to the waist, to the chest, and that beautiful face. And then all day long, we would talk about the deities on Sankirtan. You know Vaishasika, right? Vaishasika, Swabhas, the president of Los Angeles, Charlie Deshna. We'd all stand at the Atlanta airport. Say, what were the deities wearing today? And Vaishasika would say, they had a beautiful saffron outfit or this kind of jewelry. And that way we wipe all that nonsense out of our brain, all that maya that we might have been exposed to by thinking of the deities and talking about the deities with each other. The deities are here. My older godbrother Charadeshan said, you think when the curtains close, the deities have nothing going on? They're having their pastimes. They're dancing, they're enjoying. Lord Chaitanya is dancing with all the devotees. Radha and Krishna is enjoying in the groves of Vrindavan, but we cannot see it. We're not seeing it. So the deities are giving us a chance to see them, remember them, glorify them. That's another reason why we come to the temple. So now, how does all that relate to so-called membership? This is just a segue for KrishnaKirtan to speak a little bit more. But because we have this place, because this place requires some efforts in order to keep it going so we can come here and see the deities and serve them, then we have to think, how can we work together to make that happen? So I wanted to share just a couple of final thoughts. We have this new building coming up, right? Everyone's seen it. You can't help but see it. It's right there. And within the next month or two, whatever, we'll be opening that place for the deities, yes? Yes or no?
Yes.
I mean, why would we go through all this trouble so we can have new bathrooms? You have bathrooms at home. Did we go through all this trouble just to have new bathrooms? But I can promise you, some devotees will go and look, how are the bathrooms? First thing is, how was the altar? I was there the last time I came, and I saw the new chandeliers. Has everyone seen those new chandeliers? Are they not beautiful? Gorgeous. And the altar's there, and some people may say it's smaller than it should be. It could be this. It could be many things. but it is what it is. So my thought is that we have come to a corner to turn right or left. We can turn right or we can turn left. Meaning we can make so much progress spiritually as a family with the opening of this new building. Or we can turn left and become more and more, confused, or should have been this, could have been that. There's a lot of things you could say. But I would say that as a family, we embrace this turning of the corner for this temple. There's an opportunity here. And I mentioned this when we had our first big fundraising dinner. Correct me if I'm wrong. Within North America, or North America ISKCON, how many temples have been built? Just stop for a second and think about it. And one of the major temples in America is Los Angeles. They didn't build that temple. In New York, whatever temples we've had there, 55th Street and Henry Street and then Brooklyn, we didn't build that. I'll show you the ones that were built. Houston, Alachua, Seattle, the new one in, where is it? Baltimore? New Vrindavan is beyond built. That's Prabhupada's place, isn't it? That was like the first Prabhupada's palace. Any more?
Spanish Fork.
Spanish Fork. Charu Prabhu. Jai.
That was fun. New Jersey.
Baltimore.
I've gotten 5 so far.
Yeah, he said.
Well, see, here's the point. Very few. You're doing something here very few temples in the history of North America, ISKCON, has ever attempted to do.
I think you one in Miami is the big one, right? Miami has two.
No, Miami has a church.
Oh.
Sumati Morarji donated marble for that place. They didn't build it. It's a beautiful church, though. They didn't build it. You're one of the top 5 or top 10. Give yourself a big round of applause. There you go. You have to think about this. You have attempted to do something that very few temples have even tried to do. I'm from Atlanta. I mean, we've been there since 1970. We've talked about it. You know, you were there. Sukada was an architect, so he made some drawings and ideas. Talked about it, never did it. We even raised money at one point, $700,000 to make a new project. Didn't happen. Look what you've done. But as I said, it's almost like if we take the same attitude and consciousness from this room and move it over there, what are we going to have? You have to think about that. You think about that yourselves. What consciousness are we going to take over there to that new building? That building will reflect your consciousness because Krishna doesn't need it. Am I right? Krishna can stand under a tree like he did, Madan Mohan. And Sanatana Goswami is just worshiping. Very happy, no problem. In fact, when Krishna said he wanted something more, Sanatana Goswami said, I'm an old man, I cannot give you more. Be quiet. Take what I'm giving. So Krishna will accept the banana peel instead of the banana. He doesn't need something like that. He's giving us an opportunity to serve him with that bliss. We have to be careful of our consciousness. And it starts with us because the third purpose of ISKCON, quiz,
Bring the members of society.
to bring the members of the society closer together and then nearer to Krishna, the prime entity. So we really have to think about this. Before we have our grand opening, we've got to figure how can we become closer to each other. Think about that. Read Rupa Goswami's Upadeshamrita, verse number 4, the Dati Pratigrina, the one I quoted. Practice that amongst yourselves. And one of the ones that's really important besides the Prashadam one is a Guyam Agyati Prichati, which means revealing your mind with confidence. And more importantly, listening confidentially. You know why people don't share what they really feel with you? Because they don't think that you would keep it private. That means our love is not strong yet. We're not able to share with each other on a real deep level. Prabhu, Manaji, I'm feeling like this, what about that? Just the other day, we had a really nice exchange with one devotee who opened their heart to us. It was so beautiful. I was in tears. That person felt so comfortable to open their heart. That will make our new project strong. That will make the future of this temple amazing. And I have to say, You have so many elements here that are amazing. And I just wanted to mention specifically about your finance team. I know Kaivalya Prabhu is on that finance team, and Murli Rangam is on that team. Who else is there? KrishnaKirtan?
No.
Who else?
Jagannath.
Oh, Jagannath Chandra, your new vice president. There's one more. And Savitri. Nikhil Prabhu and Savitri. Please don't forget Savitri. She does so much work for this temple. Hari Hari Bo! And I say this with all sincerity. You know, I would not even attempt to be your quote-unquote off-site corporate president without Savitri. And of course, Jagannath Priya. These two have really been without them I couldn't do it. They're really dedicated. But this finance team, because I was president for 18 years in Atlanta, vice president for 10 years. I've been involved in management for a long time. Many finance teams, many treasurers and all that. This is the best one that I've ever worked with. I'm serious because there's no motivation for personal gain. Like they want to get something out of this. They're going to get paid a salary. They can, cipher off the money. I haven't seen any of that. I've seen that they work really hard to make sure there's enough that this temple goes forward. Give them a so you have that in place. You have some wonderful devotees in the community. I would think that one thing that we're not doing enough of is engaging the members of our community more. And as we bring up our membership concept, part of it is how can we engage everybody more? It's not about money. It's about engagement. Money is one of the resources, right? And we want to use that to help serve in Krishna's temple. But we have to engage more. We want ISKCON Philly to be the cleanest temple in North America. How about that? Is that possible? We want ISKCON Philly to be the most welcoming place in North America. Yes. What else? We want ISKCON Philly to be the very best prasadam in North America. The best training process for new members. The best preaching possible in North America. Yes or no? And if we want to achieve that, we have to really put our hearts together to work very hard to make that happen. So this membership drive that the devotees have undertaken is very important to the future of the temple. And I'll tell you why. Because it on the financial side, what it'll do is relieve some of the pressure, right, Kaivalya? Some of the financial pressure so devotees can think about those other things. If we're always thinking about money, we're always trying to raise money, you're all going to become very discouraged. I promise you, it'll happen. You'll just say, why don't I go to that place? It's just always asking for money. Like my grandmother said, here you come, always asking for something. She joked with you like that. So we don't want that to be ISKCON Philly. You go to ISKCON Philly, they're going to ask you for money. That's not what we want. So the membership helps us to remove that. Stay together, and the Treasury Department, they'll make sure it's dispersed properly. Things are taken care of nicely, whatever we have. Maybe we don't have much, that's okay. It's not that we have to have millions of dollars. Whatever we have, we'll use it nicely. But I'm just humbly saying that please consider, if you haven't already done so, consider becoming a member. Financially committing, not just finances, but that's one aspect. Spiritually committing through service as well. So with that, I'm going to request KrishnaKirtan Prabhu to please come. He's worked very hard over the years to help move this temple forward. Now he's doing a nice project in Delaware. So he's going to share some thoughts with you. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Srila Prabhupada ki.
Prabhuji, can I ask you a question?
Yes, please.
So when I was in India, so many people told me they had the life membership with ISKCON, the ISKCON GP
Right.
had the life membership.
Yes.
And so if there's some way you can actually leverage membership in this temple somehow that ISKCON GP, that they are offering in India. So I heard so many people.
Yes.
They said we just signed up for this life membership
Yes.
for ISKCON, so they go to all the temples and So I just don't know if there is a way to leverage somehow. This could be a segue for that life membership
Yes.
that ISKCON offers. So do you see something?
Okay, from the temple membership to segue to the life.
Segue to the
We'll
life
discuss that. That's a very good point.
Something to think about.
One last thing I wanted to say that if anyone has any ideas how we can improve our temple, write to me and I'll make sure that the board of directors discuss your ideas. If you don't have my email address, you can see Jagannath Priya or Savitri. Please, just write and say, these are the ideas I think that can help improve this temple. Okay? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Namo Vishnu Padaya.
Namo Vishnupadaya.
Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale.
Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale.
Bhakti Vedanta.
Srimate Bhakti Vedanta.
Swami Niti Namine.
Swami Niti Namine.
Namaste Saraswate Deve.
Namaste Saraswati Deve.
Gauravani Pracharine.
Gauravani Pracharine.
Vishesha Sunyavadi.
Nirvishesha Sunyavadi.
Paschatya Desatarine.
Paschatya Deshatarine.
Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya.
Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya.
Prabhu Nityananda.
Prabhu Nityananda.
Sri Advaita Gadadhar.
Sri Advaita Gadadhara.
Sivasadi Sri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Vasani Gaur Bhakta Vrinda.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna. I'm very grateful to be here amongst all of you. Balabhadra Prabhu said, that's enough. I'm just following his order. I requested him to continue last week. No, please come. So I'm here to serve you. When Senior Vaishnavas gives this message to us, we should know from our heart that it is a blessing. Whether we like it or don't like it. It's very easy to do something when we like it. It's very hard when we have to do something which we don't like it. But Krishna appreciates when we don't like it. Still we do. That's why he says 2.38. Lava lava jaya jaya. No happiness and distress. Vishnu. But more than that, time is very short. I think I have 25 minutes. Hopefully, can I? It's 20 minutes? 20 minutes. 20? Okay. So I will cut short and come to the point. Bottom line is, I want to share you one important verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. This verse comes from Lord Kapila Dev. How many of you heard about Lord Kapila Dev? Before I speak, I would like to seek blessings from all the assembled Vaishnavas, especially senior Vaishnavas, disciples of Srila Prabhupada. We are very fortunate. We have very short time to get their association. And we learn. I'm here because I learned from them. The next generation are there because they are going to learn from us. So this time is very, very special. And I'm very grateful to have all of you. Please repeat after me. Sri Bhagavan Vacha.
Sri Bhagavan Vacha.
Karmana Deva Nitrena.
Karmana Deva Nitrena.
Jantu Deha Pattaye.
Jantu Deho.
Striya Pravishta Udaram.
Striya Pravishta Udaram.
Pumsaretah Kanasayah.
Pumsaretah Kanasayah.
I'll repeat that again, once again. Sri Bhagavan Vacha.
Sri Bhagavan Vacha.
Karmana Deva Nitrena.
Karmana Deva Nitrena.
Jantu Deha Papattaye.
Jantu Deha.
Striya Pravishta Udaram.
Striya Pravishta Udaram.
Pumsaretah Kanasayah.
Pumsaretah Kanasayah.
Translation by His Divine Grace of Charanavrind Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, remember very, very, very carefully at this essence, why we are here in this moment. why we are here in this temple of Philadelphia. It's always important to understand. Then only we'll be very grateful where we are. So the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, under the supervision of the Supreme Lord and according to the results of his work, the living entity, the soul, is made to enter the womb of a woman through the particle of male semen to assume a particular type of body. So this narration comes after the narrating about the position of the living entity. We may speak a lot of things, but the reality is that Janma Mrityu, the birth, death, old age, disease, none of us is free from it. None of us. And no one can free us from these miseries. However, human life has this given benediction. This privilege is given to human life. This privilege is given to human life actually, human body. Animals cannot understand this science, the cycle of birth and death. Animals cannot understand. However, I have not heard anywhere people teaching about this subject matter also. You go to any shop, you go to any college, any universities, a job, people don't talk about the realities of the life. So, I know it's very hard just talking about why I have to give this money. I'm not talking about money. We are talking what services we are getting from the temple. What is the benediction is coming to us, which no one has given to us. No one. So many devotees are sacrificing, so many devotees are sacrificing to have this facility for us to sit and hear about this Krishna Katha so that it is beneficial to us, the self. It's beneficial to us. Those who appreciate, those who understand, even though they like or don't like, they come and they render the service. That's why Krishna consciousness Krishna says it's called Buddhi Yoga. I was sharing yesterday. It's called Buddhi Yoga. Anyone understand what is Buddhi Yoga? Yoga of intelligence. Means we are not on the platform of sensual. What kind of lecture today? What kind of feast today? What kind of atmosphere is today? No, we have to transcend from all this sensual platform. Then only we can touch the platform transcend. Otherwise, we'll always see the dualities of this world. Our activities will be based on the liking and disliking. That's why, because our Bhagavad Dharma comes to the point. Bhagavatam explains, he says, Dharma sehi apavargasya nata yato kalpate natasya dharma kantasya kamalavaya smita. Please understand this. You can get it. It might be sound heavy, right? All occupational engagements are certainly meant for ultimate liberation. They should never be performed for material gain. Furthermore, according to the sages, one who is engaged in the ultimate occupational service should never use material gain to cultivate sense gratification. One of my devotees was sharing, he used to work for someone 14 hours. But company, the authority don't say, oh, you work so hard, please chant Hare Krishna. Or whatever the money you got it, go engage in good stuff. They don't care. You work and take it. But here Bhagavatam's instruction is, why? Because whom do you give instruction? Confidential instruction. Who do we give? To the loved ones, to whom we love. Isn't it? So Krishna is giving this confidential message to the Vaishnavas. Why? Why? Because they love us. It's not just we spend 1 hour here hearing each other. That's the essence. Before we go further, please understand this. This process is definitely free us from birth and death. That's why, even the difficult situation, no one should try to escape. If you catch hold, if you stay in the movement, you will be delivered. That's the whole process. Never out of anger and frustration. No, we should not give up what is right. Sometimes children do. Have you heard, those who have children, they know, I will not tonight. Because if they don't like something what parents say, I will not eat tonight. I will leave. And I will do this, I will do that. What do you call that?
Insubordinate.
What do you call that?
Defiance.
Huh? Okay, and anything else? What do you call? Immaturity, ignorance, right? So our decision taking on this subject matter, I like, I come, I don't like, I don't come. I like, I give donation, I don't like, I don't give donation. Basically, we are the enjoyer. Everything happening, I am doing everything because I like it. Am I the enjoyer or Krishna is the enjoyer? That says platform, the devotional service bhakti means one has to come to the platform for the satisfaction of Krishna. There's a beautiful prayer. I request Balabhadra to play them rhythm, please, for me. I hope you can see this. This beautiful prayer was written by one of the great acharyas. Is Bhaktivinoda Thakur. I request all of you go through this. Please go. It will bring a transformation. Dulabha manava janma labhya samsare Dulabha labhya samsare Krishna bhajino dukha kahiva kahare Krishna bhajino dukha kahiva kahare Dulabha labhya samsare Dulabha labhya samsare samsara kare ichage lata samsara kare ichage lata lavana koila kichu akila janga lavana koila kichu akila janga labhya samsare Krishna bhajino dukha kahiva kahare Krishna bhajino dukha kahiva kahare Isra samsara chaya badika Isra samsara chaya badika iyate mamata kari utadinaka Krishna Nam Bhajino Dukha Kaiva Kahare Krishna Nam Bhajino Dukha Kaiva Dulava Manava Janma Lavya samsare Dulava Lavya samsare. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying, Durlava Manava Jal. We hear, how many times we heard this before in the past? Durlava Manava. You understand what is Durlava Manava? Durlava means very rare. It cannot be purchased. Even if you purchase all your lifetime's earnings, all the inheritance you receive from your kingly parents, everyone is getting? That is called Durlava, which is very, very rare. Durlava Manava Janma Lobhya Samsara. However, we spend that time working for our boss 8 hours, 1 more hour, I'll get $10 more or $50 more. Additional 14 hours, 15 hours. What we do? Me, mine. My family, me, my relatives, everything I. Using that valuable wealth which is given by Lord Krishna as a mercy to us. We do not deserve. This body came to us not because we deserve. How many of you understand this? How many of you agree with this? This body given to us not because we deserve. It wasn't earned by the nature. This first verse we say, Karmana Deva Netre. No. What is the supervision of the super soul? He instructs to whom? Deva, the material nature. For us, for whom? For us. To get this body which I'm sitting here speaking, is arranged by the super soul and made this body by the material nature, awarded to us, and for very short period. You all are with me? Very short period. However, we think that this is all for me and my family, everything, that's it. There's a beautiful story I will share with you. It's from Padma Purana. I shared in the morning. It's from Padma Purana. Krishna is saying, the one who works for me, even if he is doing unethical work, even if it's unethical work, but because he is engaging his income, results of his action, for my satisfaction, he is free from the sin. On the other hand, even though we claim ourselves to be a very gentleman, I work nice with suit and good work very hard. I don't steal anything from the company, nor from the temple. All I do is I'm a gentleman. Whatever the money comes, I keep in my pocket. But in Krishna's eye, it's a stealing. Krishna's eye is a stealing. So working for Krishna, his satisfaction is and the ultimate benediction which this human body can give. Forget about it, even flowers can render service. I was thinking, do you see how beautiful garlands was made? Beautiful garlands. How fortunate they are, the flowers, that they could touch the lotus body of Radha and Krishna. Even flowers can engage in devotional service. So that's it, the conclusion in Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, all the acharyas is speaking, is Apana samshitam ghoram yannama vivasagranam tata sadhya vimuchyate yad viveti swayam bhayam. So living beings were entangled in the complicated messes of birth and death. I'm sorry, it's not very easy to realize that I am in this trap, I am this prison house. No. How many of you really feel that you're in prison house? How many?
Sometimes.
Sometimes, right? Sometimes. It means our sadhana, our practice, our faith on the Krishna consciousness is not arising. No, because if we practice well, you will see the symptoms. When you go, if you are diseased, when you go to a doctor, he gives the medication, then it's how you're feeling. If you say, I'm feeling good and everything, then say, okay, it means you're not taking the medication properly. So the Shastras explain that living beings who are entangled in the complicated messes of birth and death can be freed immediately by even unconsciously chanting the holy name of the Lord Krishna, which is feared by the fear personified. That is the benediction. That's the benediction. And when I drive the car, I'm changing because very short time when I drive the car, I live in Delaware. Huge churches. How cooperation they have. And hardly they meet once in a week. 1 hour, 11 to 12. This fight, that's the majority time. This Krishna call, you have no idea how people, devotees, are working day and night. Just we are taking pleasure by seeing the darshan of the Lord. Behind this darshan, devotees work early morning, 3 a.m. in the morning, or for tomorrow they are already making the garlands today. Have you seen the bathroom basement? How nice! I was amazed. Everything was done, clean. Somebody is doing. Prasadam is somebody is doing. When we awaken that consciousness, understand that I'm so fortunate to be here. What can I do? That's why when we enter into the temple of Krishna, we should come into in the mode of gratitude. It's not quantity. It's not the quantity. One man or woman can have only one flower. The other man or woman, they can give $20,000. It's not the quantity. It's our heart. If the heart is there, then Krishna accepts that. Shastras explain. Even Bali Maharaj got perfection. He was emperor of all these 3 worlds by giving charity to Krishna. Then I'll give a story of Kalavesha Sridhar. How many of you heard of the Kalavesha Sridhar? Right? Kalavesha Sridhar. If you hear, being born in Orissa, I have seen such kind of people. It's very inspiring. Kalavesha Sridhar was in the pastime of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Those who are seen on the eastern part of India, they appear to be very poor. Truly, I am speaking now that the richest countries are more poor. You know why? Because we are never satisfied in our heart. More and more and more and more and more. Thanksgiving is coming. Even though we don't have money or not, okay, but we will pay from our credit card because $1,000 laptop we'll get for $300. We don't need it, but we will spend it. Why? It's for me, my son. Everything is me and my son. But when we enter into the temple, are we saying, is my entering is always for my satisfaction or for Krishna's satisfaction? This conscious changes we have to make. But one thing I can appreciate that today we could have made choices in our life. So many choices we could have made in our life. But tonight, all the devotees, every Sunday, they made their choices to be here amongst Hare Krishna temple. Thus I give it a big round of applause. Because the karma of how we get our body, we prepare our future destination. Right? This assembly here, we are individually preparing for our future destination. So always be grateful what we have. This bhakti is going to be the highest benediction. Highest benediction. You believe or not. That's why we should practice the bhakti in the platform of Buddhi Yoga. Not like sensual. Doesn't matter. It's not inspiring. Let me make it inspiring. It's not clean. Let me make clean this temple. It's not financially not. Let me serve this. Because bhakti is a privilege. Again, the human birth is a privilege, and bhakti is a privilege. You understand? I went to the dictionary and looked what is the privilege means. Anyone can explain what is the privilege means?
An opportunity which you don't deserve.
An opportunity, yes. A gift which you don't deserve. Bhakti is also like that. Why? If you see the Prachetas, Bhagavatam's Prachetas, 10,000 years they meditated in the ocean, the seabed. 10,000 years. Vishwamitra, 60,000 years he meditated. So all these sages, they got to see the Supreme Lord face to face just after spending so many thousands of years of sacrifice. For us, we are simply chanting, eating, honoring prasadam, having nice kirtan. What more we need? But if you do this process properly, then in your heart will fertile heart. The desire will come. What can I make? So we have to observe our process. I've been going to Hare Krishna temple for so many years. What transformation has come? Am I still counting? Okay, $100, Krishna, $1 is yours and 99 is mine. That's a big charity. Or I'm thinking, what? Oh, Krishna, okay, I need for my son, I need for my wife, I need for myself, I need for Krishna also. Then you see the reciprocation with Krishna. He will protect you. He will protect you. There's a story I was telling. This man was a treasurer. This man was a treasurer, not treasurer, tax collector. So he was a tax collector, but he was a Ram devotee. He was a devotee of Lord Ramchandra. He was a tax collector, collects money, but he does not own the money. Neither he has a right to use that money for his personal purpose. But one day he saw his temple, a Ram temple, was in very bad shape. Very bad shape, it's kind of breaking. You know what did he do? He took the government's money or the king's money without telling. He stole that money. He engaged in the service, renovation of the temple. Do you know it's a big thing? It's a big risk to his life. If government catches, what will he do? Punished to death, right? So this is what happened. What happened? The government found out and they captivated him in prison house. And now see the devotee, doesn't mean he didn't know the risk. He know the risk that this is going to happen. But still he took the risk for himself. Why? For the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord Krishna. For his dearmost Lord Ramchandra. Okay, my Lord desires this. Let me accept this prison house. So, he was imprisoned. When he was imprisoned, Lord Ram and Lakshmana, they were not happy. They were not happy to see our devotee who sacrificed his life. No, he is suffering. Immediately they came. Where do they come? To the government. Why he has been captivated? Because he stole the money. How much money he stole? This much. He had kept it with us. Take this money. And he released that man. So Krishna, why? Krishna reciprocates. He sees our heart. It's not hard. We have to come out of our comfort zone. Have a faith on the Supreme Lord. Every moment is an opportunity. Every moment in serving Krishna is a privilege. No one has to preach. You see and observe. We observe so many things. We invest our child's life. We see so many schools, visit so many schools and see this is good, this is good, this is good, this is good. Such investment, when we put in stock market, this company is good, this company, we see. And when we come to Hare Krishna, observe how devotees working hard. Study the shastras given. Then we will come to the platform of Buddhi Yoga. That time you will not be disturbed with whole heart. So today, is it hard? So many devotees have sacrificed their life. That's why I am sitting here. We all are sitting here, right? Mother Sadamani, Ravindra Sarva Prabhu, before that all the devotees, they sacrificed so much so that we can benefit from this place. We are not come here to earn money. We have come here to develop our loving devotion to Krishna. At the same time, free ourselves from these clutches of birth, death, old age and disease. So we should be grateful. If you are not grateful, no matter 40 years we are coming, we are still in the same platform. Come forward. This is your temple. Understand how that way your husband and wife you discuss what is required. How can I serve you, oh Lord? How can I serve? Ask the devotees if they need it. Giving one person to. Yesterday I was on book distribution. A Catholic man, he says he met few minutes. He liked so much. I don't know what did he like. Something. Then, but he told in our Catholic church we give 10%. We give 10%. But remember, Krishna is not happy for 10%. Remember, Krishna wants you, right? Sarva dharman pariteja mam ekam saranam vraja aham tvam sarva papabhyo mokshayasami masu. You give surrender everything to me, not just Krishna. I kept the money in the bank and I came to offering bowing down. I kept all the money for my child. I just came, empty hand. But Krishna says, I know where your heart is. And at the end of their life, you will go to your child only. You will not come to me. It happens that we cannot cheat Krishna. This process, bhakti, is a genuine process. What is the genuine? You lit a light fire here. You put your finger there, it's going to burn. Yes or no? How many of you agree? You put your finger in the fire, it's not going to burn here. How many of you don't agree? Disagree, raise your hand. How many of you agree? Raise your hand. Okay, at least half of them are agree. Others need to try. So similarly, this bhakti is real. It's not a sentiment. Always be genuine. Come in a genuine mode. Prasadam is wonderful. I have seen observing this 15 years in this temple. It's always opulent. Devotees are wonderful. Build that wonderful relationship among each other. Serve. Because this is not the four walls. Remember, Philadelphia, this congregation is not four walls. Your heart of Philadelphia. We are nourishing the whole Philadelphia. Yes or no? We are nourishing the whole Philadelphia. When we can nourish? When the heart is very strong. Very simple. Tonight, we request all of you. First of all, who is doing some sacrifice? Giving one's heart and money is also not very easy. Not very easy. Because that's what is keeping us this material world, attachment. But how many of you really giving? This monthly seva program is going on, right? Monthly seva program is going on. Even though you're at home sleeping, still the daily worship is going on. That's the beauty of we still can take advantage of our devotional service. How many of you are giving? Doesn't matter whether $11, $1, $51, $500. How many of you are really giving something as a part of this Nitya Seva? Raise your hand, please. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Almost 10, 15 devotees here. Let's give a big round of Mother Sita, those who raise the hand, give them the form also. My request is not that you're giving, increase $2. We should come out of your comfort. They never less. You can always give yourself to Krishna. That's the beauty of bhakti. On the other hand, also give everyone one form. Let me stand here and explain this. Who has the forms?